My wife told me she was at her mom's. Her mom posted a video at a bingo night, and she wasn't there. I checked her location. She was 2 hours away in a cabin. I drove there. She opened the door in a robe. I said, "Your mom misses you." I brought her. We've been married 8 years. We met at a summer cookout in Kalispell when we were in our 20s. I was the guy on the grill. She came over for a hot dog and never left my side. We got married 2 years later. Bought a place just outside Missoula. We both had decent jobs, me in HVAC, her working front desk at a dental office. We had plans. A simple life. Maybe a kid or two. I never thought she'd be the one to break it. Rachel was always good at keeping it together. Never raised her voice. Never let on that anything was off. That's what made it worse. This happened in March. Snow was still patchy in the yard, but the roads were mostly clear. She told me her mom was feeling sick, and she was going to drive up to Polson to spend the weekend. Her exact words were, "She sounded really tired and just needs company. I'll be back Sunday evening. Want me to come with you?" I asked. "No, it's fine. You've been working so much. Just rest. I'll take care of her." I kissed her, told her to drive safe. That was Friday morning. Saturday evening, I'm on the couch, game on TV, dogs asleep at my feet. I was scrolling through Facebook when a post from her mom popped up. A video. It caught my eye because it said, "Bingo night." I clicked it. There was her mom, Nancy, holding the phone and laughing with some friends at a church hall. You could hear the bingo caller in the background. The video was maybe 15 seconds, but clear as day. It was from that night. Timestamped. I watched it again. No Rachel. Now, her mom had told her she wasn't feeling well, but she sure didn't look sick in that video. She looked pretty damn lively. I called her. She didn't pick up. Then I called Nancy. She answered on the second ring. "Hey, is Rachel around?" There was a pause. Not long, but long enough. "Oh, she went for a walk." "A walk? It's almost 8 and freezing." "Yeah, she just needed air. We were talking a lot. It's been heavy. Can you let her know to call me when she's back?" "Sure thing, honey." I hung up. My chest felt tight. I didn't want to be paranoid, but it didn't feel right. I opened our phone plan app. We share the same account. I tapped into the location feature. She wasn't in Polson. She was 2 hours south. Darby. A little speck of a town close to the Bitterroot Forest. I zoomed in. The pin showed a road leading to a cabin near a river bend. It didn't make sense. There's nothing in Darby. No family. No friends. Just trees and cabins. I sat there for a long minute, then stood up and grabbed my keys. I drove without saying a word to anyone. Didn't even tell my brother, who I usually call when something feels off. Just filled the truck, grabbed a thermos of coffee, and left. Every mile felt worse. My thoughts were running wild. What if she was in trouble? What if she lied to protect someone? What if she was doing exactly what I was starting to suspect? I pulled off the highway a few miles from the location and coasted on back roads, lights off. I didn't want to tip anyone off. I parked just before the turnoff and walked the rest. It was dark, but there were stars. The kind of quiet that makes your thoughts louder. I followed the map on my phone. The pin hadn't moved. She was still there. Then I saw the cabin. Lights on. Smoke from the chimney. Her car was parked in front. I stopped and looked at it for a minute. Then I texted her mom. "I'm at Rachel's location. It's a cabin near Darby. You said she was with you. What's going on?" She didn't reply. I went up the porch. Took a breath. Knocked. Footsteps. Then the door opened. Rachel stood there, wearing a robe, hair up in a messy bun. Eyes wide, face pale. "Your mom misses you," I said, holding up my phone. I brought her. She blinked, then saw my screen. Nancy was on a live call. I had it open and on speaker. "Rachel," her mom said, voice soft, scared. What are you doing?" Rachel's mouth opened. Nothing came out. Then I heard it. A man's voice from inside. "Babe? Who is it?" She froze. I pushed past her. There he was, standing in the hallway, shirtless. Older than me. Probably mid-40s. Hair slicked back. Towel slung low on his hips. Holding a glass of wine. I stared at him. He stared back. Rachel tried to grab my arm. "Let me explain." I shrugged her off. "You told me you were helping your sick mom," I said, looking at her. "And you're in a cabin with this guy?" It's not what it looks like." He chuckled. "It's exactly what it looks like." Rachel spun on him. "Shut up, Travis." So now I had a name. I turned and walked out. She followed me to the porch. Please, don't leave. Let me talk. You lied to me, I said. To your mom. To everyone. I didn't mean to hurt you. You meant to be here. You planned it. She didn't answer. I got in my truck and drove away. I don't even remember the drive back. I just remember the silence. The kind that crawls into your bones. She came home Sunday. Said she wanted to talk. I didn't let her in. Now the real part starts. She came back Sunday evening like nothing had happened. I heard her car pull into the driveway. I was sitting at the kitchen table, lights off, dogs beside me. I didn't get up. Didn't even look at the door when she walked in. Can we talk? She asked. I didn't say anything at first. Just stared at my hands. Then I said, leave your keys on the counter. She hesitated. Please. Just listen. Let me explain. You've had 2 hours in a cabin to explain, I said. Now it's my turn. She stayed quiet. Set her keys down. You lied, I said. You lied to me and to your mom. And you didn't just make a mistake. You planned it. You packed bags. You took time off work. You told stories. She wiped her face. I think she was trying to cry, but nothing came out. Who the hell is Travis? She flinched. He's no one. He's not no one if you're in a robe and he's shirtless and you're holed up in a cabin in the woods. I met him at work, she finally said. He's a dental supply rep. He comes by once a month. And it just started as talking, then texting. Then, one night we had drinks after the office closed. How long? She looked down, whispered, 6 months. I felt like the floor dropped out from under me. We were trying for a baby during those 6 months, I said. I know. You could have just left. Why didn't you just leave? I didn't want to ruin your life. You did. She broke down then, cried like a kid who got caught stealing. I didn't comfort her. I just sat there. She slept on the couch that night. I didn't sleep at all. Monday morning, I called a lawyer. But here's where things started to turn. 2 days later, I got a text. From Travis. No idea how he got my number. Hey man, we should talk. I didn't know she was married. She told me you two were separated. I didn't answer. He texted again. She's been lying to both of us. I'm done with her. Thought you should know. At first, I figured he was just covering his ass. But then he sent a screenshot. Rachel, a month ago, he moved out in January. It's just me now. I'm trying to start over. We were still living together. Still eating dinner every night. Still trying for a baby. That's when I realized she wasn't just cheating. She was building a whole different life. I called Travis. He answered fast. Look, I didn't mean for any of this. Save it, I said. I don't care about you. I care about getting answers. He told me everything. She told him she was divorced. Said I was an alcoholic. Said I was abusive. He said he never questioned it because she seemed so sincere. She cries a lot, he said. Talks about how much she's been through. Sounded familiar. Then he told me something else. I found a notebook in her bag. She left it here once. It had a list. Like, stuff she wanted to get in the divorce. Your truck. Your savings. The dogs. I felt sick. She wasn't leaving me for someone else. She was using him, and she was going to gut me in the process. I started putting things together. Checking our accounts. Looking at emails. Talking to coworkers. She wasn't just cheating. She was setting me up. And she almost pulled it off. Almost. I spent the next few days digging through everything. Bank accounts. Email history. Cloud backups. She was sloppy, or maybe just didn't think I'd look. She'd made a private email tied to her maiden name. Used it for everything related to Travis. And apparently, for a few lawyers too. I found emails she sent to a divorce attorney in Bozeman. Dated back to December. She told them I was emotionally unstable. Said she feared for her safety. She was working on a plan to remove herself safely from the marriage. Meanwhile, we had just gone on a weekend getaway to Glacier in January. She posted pictures of us in the snow, holding hands, laughing. She was faking the whole damn thing. But here's the kicker. She had also contacted my employer. I work HVAC for a small company. Solid job, good boss. I found out she'd called my work in February. Told them I was battling substance abuse and struggling with aggression. Said she was my wife and just trying to help prevent something bad. They didn't buy it, thank God. But my boss never told me. Said he didn't want to stir anything up unless there was a real issue. So now I knew. Rachel wasn't just planning to leave. She was setting fire to the ground behind her. And then something strange happened. Travis showed up at my door. This was 2 days after we spoke on the phone. He pulled up in a silver Lexus, stepped out in jeans and a fleece vest like he was on an REI catalog cover. I opened the door, not sure what to expect. She came after me, he said. What? She showed up at my apartment last night. Screaming. Said I ruined everything. Said I was dead to her. I stepped outside. She was crying again, he said. Same story. Said you were controlling. Said I was the only one she could trust. You still believe her? No, he said. But I think she's unwell. And dangerous. Then he handed me something. A manila envelope. Inside, copies of texts, emails, even a selfie she took in that cabin. Some of it I had never seen. She left her iPad at my place last month. I backed up her stuff before she grabbed it. You did all this out of guilt? I did it because she said she'd ruin me too. Turns out she told him she'd accuse him of assault if he didn't stay quiet. Said she'd go to HR and say he forced himself on her during a sales visit. That's when he bailed. I took everything, texts, emails, copies of her fake story, and gave it all to my lawyer. We filed for divorce that week. She didn't take it well. She blew up my phone, showed up at my job, screamed on my front lawn until the cops came. She told the cops I hit her. They pulled me aside, but I had everything documented. Dates, times, witnesses, messages. The officer took her aside, talked to her for 5 minutes, then told her to leave the property. But it didn't stop there. She started calling my friends, my brother, even my mom. Said I snapped. Said she was trying to protect herself. But the people in my life aren't dumb. They've known me forever. They started comparing notes. Some of them even confronted her. Then she made her last move. She tried to empty our joint savings. She walked into the bank 2 weeks after I filed. Told them she needed to withdraw everything for a medical emergency. Problem was, I'd already frozen the account. They called me. I showed up 10 minutes later. She was sitting in the lobby, crying again. She saw me and tried to stand. Don't, I said. The manager pulled us both into the office. I laid out the paperwork, the freeze notice, everything. She stormed out. But she wasn't done. She had one more trick. And this one almost worked. A week later, I got a letter in the mail. Certified. From Child Protective Services. I thought it was a mistake. We don't have kids. But the letter said someone had reported me for neglect and emotional abuse of a child. Claimed I had a history of violent outbursts. That the child in question had witnessed disturbing behavior and was afraid for their safety. I sat there holding that letter for a full minute, not breathing. Then I realized Rachel was trying to destroy everything. I called the CPS number, got an agent on the phone, asked them what the hell was going on. They said the report had been made anonymously, but with a name mentioned, Rachel, my wife. She told them we were fostering a child, gave them a name, said I was unstable. I told them flat out we weren't fostering anybody. I asked if I could come in with my lawyer. They agreed. We brought everything. Divorce papers, email trails, statements from friends, coworkers, even her own mother. The CPS agent's face said it all. They knew they'd been lied to. They thanked me for my time. Said they'd be closing the file immediately. But it was still on record. It still happened. And Rachel knew that. She wanted something on paper to hang around my neck, even if it wasn't true. That was it. That was the final nail. I called her that night. You're not going to stop, are you? I don't know what you're talking about, she said, voice flat. You sent CPS after me. You can't prove that. I laughed. No, but they can. Silence. Then she said, you ruined my life. No, I said. You did. I hung up and blocked her number. Blocked her on everything. Changed my locks, my routes, even my phone plan. The divorce finalized 2 months later. She didn't get the house. Didn't get the truck. Didn't get a cent of the savings because of what we turned up in court. Fraud, slander, malicious intent. The judge saw the evidence and said, I have never seen such calculated deception. I walked out of that courthouse free. But the story doesn't end there. She tried to move to Boise. Tried to get a job at a dental clinic. I found out through a friend in the industry that she listed me as her ex and claimed I was financially abusive. I sent the clinic a full legal summary of our case, with court documents. She didn't get the job. Last I heard, she's back in Polson, living with her mom. Can't hold down work. Most people know her story now. Word gets around in Montana, especially when you burn bridges that bad. As for me, I sold the house. Got a new place in Helena. Fresh start. The dogs are still with me. They're the only ones who never lied. And now? Now I live quiet. I keep to myself. I don't trust Easy anymore. But I'm not broken. She thought she could wreck my life and walk away with the pieces. But I made sure she walked away with nothing. And she'll remember that every time someone asked her, "Weren't you the one with the cabin?" Because people always remember the ones who tried to burn everything down, especially when the fire turns back on them.